I have a Ultraguard dirt stopper, rock stopper that I'd purchased for my Winnebago. I have a Winnebago sightseer. Just bought 2017. I had bought the metal piece that they recommended to install it with, and it would not mount underneath. I had got water tanks, sewer tanks, gas tanks, everything's in the way, exhaust pipe for the generator, so there wasn't anywhere to install this thing. So I thought about it and finally came up with getting a piece of 1-inch metal steel. I've painted it and installed it with a couple of bolts through the I think this is a piece that if you drag the rear end, it keeps it from dragging. So I installed it on there and then ran my screws through that. So I've got one of those on each side, and then this is right below the generator exhaust pipe. So I had it all installed, and it was, they recommend 4 inches off the ground, so had it 4 inches off the ground, I thought, but silly me, I did it with my jacks on. So once I let it down, it was actually really close. It was probably an inch from the ground. So this was what I was really wanting to show everyone, how I figured out a way of installing this thing. But another recommendation I have to give you is to be sure and measure it with the jacks not down, because I ended up having to take it off and cut a piece off. So I've cut about 3.5 inches off of it and drilled some new holes. I used a 1/4 inch drill bit. One of the things with it dragging occasionally, it didn't drag a lot, but it dragged just slightly, more so on the right for some reason. I thought I had this pretty well parallel to the ground, but a couple of the screws, this one and this one, on the old piece, it had come kind of torn through it. The device comes with these holes pre-drilled, so this one and this one had come out, and it was just the end that was holding it in. So I hadn't put in a nut because they only had nuts enough for the one side. I believe it's 9, let's see, 2, 4, no, 10 screws and 10 nuts that came with it. So they wanted the nuts on the washer side. Well, I've in reinstalling this, I put it to, like I said, a 1/4 inch drill bit I used, and the screws, I had to screw them through there with a electric drill. I made them just as small as I could, and I went ahead and put washers on them. So now when I install them, they should not be able to come through. So I'll show footage of this with it on after I'm done, but be sure I use some washers, regular washer, and then a what do you call it, the washer that won't allow it to back out, because if this thing came off, that would be a nightmare on a highway. So tried everything, make sure it stays on. So we got that all done. So I'll take a picture here once I've got this put back into place. Okay. I thought of the way I cut this. I used basically 2x4, a long 2x4. The width of it is 3.5 inches, as you know. With it installed, all the screws put in, and you want to have, I would highly recommend with the screws, I tighten them to the point of, it's a 7/16. You want to have it pulled where it's giving a little bit of pressure on that, got a little bit of push, not so much to where it's going to break through. but where it won't back out on you. I'm thinking I may put some super glue or some some of that stuff to stop it from backing out on that. So I'll lower it down, show you what the final product looks like. Voila, there it is installed. Pretty I actually like it. It's a pretty nice little reflectors on it. Has a couple of screws on each of those metal pieces that hold it in place. It's off the ground now about 3 to 4 inches. That'll keep everything from being flung onto our SUV behind it. So, final product. Ultraguard. Take care. It's fully installed and with our vehicle behind it. About 3 inches off the ground, so about perfect. Hope this helped.